Well, hello and welcome to Celebration Machine. I'm your host, Pete Hammond. Today's story is about being alone, and more importantly, being okay with being alone. When I was about 10 years old, my parents used to have parties. Well, they had parties when I was a kid, but I think I was about 10 years old. And one night, my dad came up to my room, and I couldn't sleep, of course, because they were partying, my dad and his brothers and family and stuff, and they're having a good time in the basement, listening to ABBA, whatever, dancing, music was loud. And back in the day, it was, go to bed while the adults party, which is great. So my dad came up, and he had a few drinks, and he told me this really crazy story, which at the time I really didn't understand. Again, I was about 10 years old. And he came down came up to my room rather, and he showed me the map that was on my wall, and he said, it's a big world out there, and there's lots of people in it, but the most important person you need to know is yourself. And I was like, okay, I'm like 10. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. And then he proceeds to tell me a story about being a young man in his early 20s in the airport in New York. And he was on his way to Europe. And he said there was a ton of people, but he was sitting there by himself, traveling alone. And he's looking around at all these people, hundreds and hundreds of people. And the realization hit him that he's alone. He's alone in the world. And that no matter who's around you at any given time, at the end of the day, when you close your eyes and go to sleep, you're alone. You're alone with your problems. You're alone with anything that troubles you. And he basically said, you need to figure out how to love yourself and how to be okay with being alone, because ultimately that's what we all are. So that's a pretty crazy thing to tell a 10-year-old. And I quickly forgot it because I was a kid and it didn't make sense to me at the time. I mean, I remembered the story, but I didn't really know what he meant. So fast forward 11 years. I'm 21 years old. I'm in the hospital. For those of you who don't know, I had cancer back in the day when I was a young man, had Hodgkin's disease. I was very fortunate to get that kind of cancer. But anyway, I'm in the hospital and it's the night I have to go in. It's the night before my first biopsy, to figure out, where the cancer is and, where else it could be and everything else. And they were going to do some exploratory surgery. So I'm in the hospital. I'm with my family. My mom and dad are there, my sister. And, it's great. We're talking. The mood's good. Everybody's pretending that everything's okay, even though we're all scared to death because it's early days, right? For all you cancer patients, you know what I'm talking about. Those early days are crazy. So many tests, so much waiting, and you're just terrified. But anyway, that's fine. So everyone leaves. And for the first time since the whole experience started, I am alone, like not at home. So I'm not in the comfort of my house and I'm in a room. There's nobody in the second bed. I'm by myself. And that's when it hits me. All of a sudden, my mind goes back to that story when I'm 10 years old, what my father was telling me about, when you better figure out who you are. Because when things get hard, all you have is yourself and you need to have that good relationship with yourself. And it hit me. I'm alone. I'm completely alone. And I felt alone during the diagnosis because no matter who is with you, people want to love you. They want to save you. They want to come in and help you. They want to take your burden away, but it's yours and no one else can really take it from you. And in a sense, it's not great for people to want to take that burden because there's lots to be learned and lots of growth to be had. And I know when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the middle of a sickness or a crisis, of course, you would love to have it be taken away and life to go back to normal. But as we all know, people that have been in crisis, the town called normal burns to the ground. And then it's up to you and maybe a chosen few to help you build a new town up that you're going to live in. So I'm in that hospital room and it hits me. Oh my God, this is what he's talking about. And I had an anxiety attack and which I was having prior to getting diagnosed anyway, but it hit me. I had this huge panic attack but I stayed, I stayed with the breathing and I eventually started to calm down because it really hit me. I'm alone. So I started to really think, how the hell do I deal with this feeling of being alone? How do I work with this to get to the place where my dad was, where he basically said, you got to love yourself and figure things out, because even if you have someone that you love dearly sleeping next to you, you're going to be there with your problems. And I think you don't have to be a cancer patient to understand that. That's something we all struggle with. I mean, or experience rather, because it doesn't matter what the issue is. If you don't know how to deal with it on your own, it doesn't really matter who's around you, because they're either going to try and distract you from the problem, which doesn't change anything, because when they leave or when they go to sleep, it's going to be you waking up at 3 a.m. with that same problem. So it becomes a mission of, well, how do I figure this out? So what I did is I started writing, because that made me feel less alone. If I wrote, I felt like I was somehow in touch with something other than myself, or maybe a deeper part of myself. And I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. Being sick also introduced me to songwriting. I was a drummer primarily, and then I picked up a guitar and started to teach myself how to play guitar, and consequently started a band that I really enjoyed and wrote a bunch of songs. And I always used art as a medium to work my problems out with, or to figure life out through. And Loud Love, which is the name of my band, that was what came out of it, and trying to make sense of things. But to those of you that maybe are in that position, as much as it's a terrifying experience to sort of have that, oh my God, I'm alone in this world, it's an incredible rite of passage, and it's a powerful introduction to a deeper spiritual path, let's say. And not to sound like a pretentious, moron, but it was really like this dark doorway I walked through into an even darker room. But I realized, like, I'm the one who's going to have to generate the light to see where I'm going. And it was really helpful. And my father sort of preloading my experience with the story when I was 10 was incredibly helpful, because I was like, oh shit, I get it. And just knowing then what he meant kind of made me feel less alone, because I knew that at least he'd gone through it. So not that he could really help me more than that. It was kind of up to me. We sort of all find our own paths, but that was a really powerful moment in my life when I had that, oh my God, that terrifying sort of dark night of the soul. And it really dawned on me. I knew what the hell my dad was talking about. And yeah, I hope that's not happening to you. But if it is, don't worry. Don't stress. Find a way, breathe deep, write, and just know that it's part of, if you accept it as a sort of a, I don't want to say a challenge, because you're kind of in it, especially if you're a cancer patient. You can't be like, yeah, no, I'm good. I don't want this experience anymore. Once you're in it, you're in it. If you're in it, stay with it, stay in it, and get to know yourself. If anything, get to know yourself. And if you don't know yourself, introduce yourself and start creating a relationship with yourself. And this is the part where people scream, yes, find God and all that sort of thing, but that's a whole other discussion. But open yourself up to conversations with other aspects of yourself, maybe your higher self, maybe your childhood, the inner child stuff. But basically, don't let that experience destroy you or make you feel terrified all the time. Use it as an introduction to maybe a different conversation with yourself and the world around you. So hopefully that story helps somebody out there. This is the reason why I share these stories and I have this channel, is I'd like to just leave behind something of value when it's my time to finally pop out of the meat suit and go home. But anyways, that's the story for tonight. If you're alone, I wish you well. I wish you luck. I'm here with you, but you're alone. Do the work. I send all the love in the world to everybody. The world needs it right now. That's it for tonight. Thank you so much. I'm Pete Hammond. This is Celebration Machine. We'll see you next time.